everyone, it's Adrienne here. Today I'm going to walk you through something super practical: employee separations. Unfortunately, they're going to happen to all of us, right? And so, whether you're running a private practice like I am or another small business, it's really important to have as smooth and respectful offboarding process as you can. So let's just dive into it, okay? So if you know me, you know I have to have my notes. And the first thing I put in is breathe, and don't take it personally. For years, and still sometimes today, right? I used to take it so personal, but sometimes people separate from your company for a lot of reasons. And so treat them with as much respect as you would want if you made a change or did the best thing for yourself, right? So breathe. And sometimes it's a shock. A lot of times it's a shock. So first, just like take a minute to gather yourself. And even if you have to say, hey, I appreciate you telling me, and you go away and then come back and finish the conversation, that's fine. All right. The next thing you need to do is confirm the last day. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say something, and I hope you receive it. A lot of these things we can really make clear when a person comes on, right? And so when they're hired. So it's really important in your training and your onboarding that you are very clear about what it looks like if and when the time comes for you to separate. We need 2 weeks notice. We need 30 days notice, whatever it is, but make sure and how you want that. Like, so one time someone quit via text. And so after that, in every orientation, we say we need it either in writing, in person, or email. And we need it 2 weeks, 30 days before the final date. And that is time worked. Once someone, her last day was the day before Christmas break, which we were closed. And so she thought that was okay. So just confirm the last day, even if they've written it in a letter. You can just say, per our requirements, or per our handbook, we do require a 30-day notice. We require a 2-week notice, and it's okay for you to gently, respectfully push back on that, right? Okay, so confirm the last day, even if that means they may have to rewrite their letter of resignation. And then the next thing you want to do is get their materials. So any materials that they are using, or just be sure that you have those things. For us, it's a requirement that you give your badge back for safety reasons. And in our offer letter, we say if that badge is not returned, it will be deducted from your final paycheck. Okay. Also, they know once you put in your letter of resignation for our company, you can no longer request PTO. So if you want to request PTO, it needs to be before you put in a letter of resignation. Whatever your rules are, make sure that they're clear, and don't start making up rules because you're angry. Okay. And so that's why I think it's just as important for us as business owners as it is for our employees or our contractors, although that's two separate things. So I don't want to get into that. But as our employees, that we're very clear. And so if something's not being done in that way, we can say, this is what we've said. How are we going to fix this? Right? Then you're going to talk about removing access. I want you to start to remove access from what they need. If they have a company email, schedule that. If you have an HR platform, a Paychecks, ADP, Gusto, make sure that you're scheduling their last day and they can be removed, especially if we're paying that month-to-month fee for them. We don't want to pay for anything that we don't want to pay for any extra months, correct? So make sure all access is removed. The next thing is an exit interview. That needs to happen sooner than later. I always imagine an exit interview would be the day before they left. I think it's really important in this exit interview. You talk about, especially our pediatric practices or anything that has to do with you're dealing with patients, how do you want that communicated? You may not want this person who's quitting or resigning to tell all your families yet because you're not quite sure. So you need to get ahead of this and say, hey, I'm not quite sure how we're working on getting your schedule moved over. Until we figure it out, if you do me a favor and not mention that you're leaving until your last week or the 2 days before you leave, control that narrative, or else if you're not careful, it just starts to spread and it's not good, right? And so you want to, in that exit interview, talk about that. And let me just say, this doesn't necessarily have to be an exit interview. When you get that resignation letter, you can automatically just have a template like, so sorry to see you go, so appreciative of what you've given. Here's our next steps. I always say, go ahead and make yourself a template because there are emotions going on. So if you have it, you can send it and that's it. Okay, so when they can tell families, another thing is anything that you need returned, also how they'll get access to any documents. So like for us, we use Gusto as a platform for HR. We want to let them know you always have access to Gusto, whether you're with us or not with us, because that is those are your records, your W-2s, your documents you need for tax. So you will always have access to them, okay? When they can expect their last paycheck. That's another thing everyone wants to know and how they will be getting it. In the past, I would mail our final paycheck. I wouldn't do direct deposit. You don't have to do that. Now we just run it with regular payroll. And so just in this situation, communication is very key. And sometimes you're okay with it, and sometimes you're ticked. Sometimes you're really sad. And I just want to say quickly, let yourself feel those emotions. Like, honestly, this is one of the most difficult things I deal with. Just getting people into my life, and I'm so used to them in my life in this way, and then they leave for whatever reason. But sometimes saying goodbye still isn't easy. And so I hope this is helpful. I I could say, hey, give me your email address and I'll mail you this list, but it's 5 things. Number one is breathe. Number two is confirm their last day. Number three is get the materials that they've gotten from you. Number four is remove access that they have to any of your systems. And then complete an exit interview is the last one. Make yourself a checklist. It may need to be a little bit more detailed, but just so it just there are no perfect bosses, there are no perfect workplaces. It doesn't matter. You could do all the right things and people will still, they may leave. And so if you're a little bit more prepared for that, then it doesn't always come as a shock. And if it does, give yourself space to feel those feelings. But if someone's left, someone will come. Always think of that and always remember that. I hope that this has been so helpful. And so until next time, I hope to see you again. And give me a thumbs up if you like this video. Any comments? I love your comments. It just keeps me going. So appreciate it. And until next time.